Okay, thanks for making it to Veterans Daily with Jay and Clay. Glad you made it. Clay dragged me out of bed this morning. Not physically, we're not living in the same house, but he had this idea to do a reaction video on something that I have no clue what he's even going to show us. So that's fun because he got the preview apparently, and we didn't. So here we go together to see what's going to happen. So Clay, I don't even know what to say because you've shown me nothing. So all I'm going to say is hit the thumbs up, subscribe, share with a friend, all that good stuff. We really appreciate it. Clay, you're going to have to kick us off because I don't even know what we're going to talk about.
Oh, yeah. So we are doing... Stan's here. Good morning, Stan. Yeah. We're going to be doing some React videos on some very hot topic issues. To start it off, and I'm just going to jump right into this. We have an airman that set himself on fire in support of the pro-Palestinian, anti-Israel type deal. So we're gonna watch this video and give our opinions on it. Yeah.
So before you even jump into it, it's like an oxymoron sentence. I thought the Air Force folks were supposed to be the smart ones in the bunch. I'm sure the Navy has their own smart bunch too, but okay, I'm already intrigued, Clay.
Hey, recruitment has been down, so they got to let whoever in. That's
true.
That's the word. That's the word on the street. As a side note, I couldn't get the original video because he lights himself on fire, and you could imagine that YouTube would probably take our channel down. So right now we have a news story that covers this.
I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest.
Something I do want to add, Jason, is he's an officer, right?
Oh, very nice. And
that's a leader,
That's a leader. Wonderful. And he's in uniform just to really set home the point, which is also just baffling to me. I mean, right now, okay, look, you were in the Marine Corps. I was in the Marine Corps. I was also in the Army National Guard, which has, look, the reserves and National Guard, no matter what branch, it's a little bit different. We can all agree.
Mm-hmm.
But to just even go around in uniform for nonsensical things is already ridiculous. So officer and in uniform just is already frustrating. All right, let's get more frustrated first thing in the morning. I appreciate it.
It's gonna get a lot better. So.
And I will no longer be complicit in genocide. Is Aaron Bushnell. I am an active duty member of the United States Air Force, and I will no longer be complicit in genocide. I'm about to engage in an extreme act of protest.
All right, Jason. So that's what.
Okay, look.
That's what went down.
The first thing that I just want to kind of say to throw out there is, all jokes aside, something's off already, right? Anybody who does something to that extreme, something's wrong, something's off, and there's a couple different layers here, right? Because you can focus on the situation at hand and just stay on that, but look. This was an officer in the United States military who's off in the rocker, who's leading troops, airmen, whatever. So that's a scary thought already, because look, that's the type of guy or gal out there that goes, okay, let's stir up this Kool-Aid with a little special sprinkle here, and let's all drink together, right? So that's some scary stuff. So I think that the military stands pissed. So I think that the military should take heed and go, look, culture's changing. The demographic is changing. You're pulling in not the same thing that you pulled in 1950, just saying, or 40, whatever. So I think that there needs to be maybe some sort of ongoing annual little psych tests or whatever, especially for your leadership. So it's very disturbing to me on many levels. And I'm going to kick it to you, Clay, to just get your kind of thoughts on that.
Yeah, overall, it's like one, it's absolutely insane. But I will say this: that takes some balls, okay? Right or wrong, that takes some balls to light yourself on fire. But I think social media has really tainted our mindset. I think we see the mental health crisis in America specifically. I think there's a direct result of social media that plays a factor in that. And when it comes to lighting yourself on fire in protest, it's like, okay, so he lit himself on fire. Well, America, who is a amazing, mighty, strong, powerful country, is still going to send aid to Israel. So what was the effect of him lighting himself on fire? I don't want to invalidate his actions and say they were worthless or they're useless, but at the end of the day, the country is postured and has our values. Whether you agree with them or not, you can protest, but lighting yourself on fire, dude, that is absolutely insane. That is way, 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 way far beyond than going, to DC and doing a march and saying pro-Palestinian this and pro-Palestinian that, which, by the way, food for thought. That's not the train that I'm on personally, but it's just, it's crazy, man, that this is, and he recorded himself. And so it makes me think, did he want attention? Did he want likes and views? But then it's hard to say that because he's dead. So I'm flabbergasted would be the right word. I have no idea what to say at an airman, an officer, okay, an officer in the Air Force lighting himself on fire. It's insane.
And Clay, I mean, look, he sounded somewhat coherent. I mean, he sounded like he mission driven. He knew what he was going to do. He obviously, I mean, he had it all. It wasn't a last minute thing. He prepared for this, right? Okay, let me get on my uniform. Let me get my little bottle, my drink bottle, whatever. So he died as a result of the fire. They didn't put it on. And how did he die? Did he die from the fire of lighting himself on fire? Because it seemed like there was people there with extinguishers. So
yeah, so he's dead. I looked into this, and he was rushed to the hospital, and then he died in the hospital. Probably from when IEDs and stuff like that happens, when blast happens, a lot of the casualties are actually from their lungs being burned from the inside out versus superficial.
Yeah.
I assume that's what happened because he's on fire, right?
Right. Yeah, and he has no oxygen, right? The fire's breathing the oxygen. Yeah. Exactly. So it's maybe it was not a fully thought out plan. Maybe he thought my clothes are going to be on fire. I'm going to wait till there's people there. If they're close enough, I know that they're going to rush to put me out. If I'm making enough noise that I'm going to do this. So, maybe I'll get a superficial burn to be able to talk about, you know what I mean? Yeah. And have this thing. He wasn't recording it, right? Or was he? He was recording himself. Did he set the camera down to keep recording?
Absolutely. Okay. Yeah.
So, it's a weird world we're in, man.
It is.
It's very sad. And just to go down another weird path, because you kind of brought up the whole social media thing, is that now you also have, and look, this isn't the only joker out there that don't, kids at home, don't ever do that. That's stupid, right? This behavior gets thrown out there, and then people think that that's a viable option to express yourself, and it's frankly not. So I think that there's better ways, and that's what should be kind of pushed out. Look, I'm about free speech. Cool. Right. We all have all of our amendments, including the second, right? They're all there. So do you, but self-harm and harming others is not an appropriate way. Just strange though, right? I mean, he was definitely a fringe thinker, probably in the military on all of that. And the fact that he was an officer, the fact that he was in uniform, the fact that he was filming it, you would think that he would be keeping that as a keepsake. If it was some sort of a, for real, I know I'm going to die, he'd probably want to leave some sort of another message, a continuation message that he would have left with his phone or something, just knowing that he was going to not be here at the end. You would think if he was that if he had that much conviction for his cause, right? So I don't know. Maybe it was an accidental death, of his own stupidity, and that's the message I want to get out to people that are watching that may ever even think of something like that. Don't do it, because you could probably die. All right, back to you.
Absolutely, yeah. One thing I did want to bring up is the officer runs at him with his weapon drawn. I just think that's hilarious. I think that's absolutely funny. And the second thing, kind of to make light of a very serious situation, how many safety briefs do you think are going to be in the DoD about not lighting yourself on fire, right? I mean, thanks, guy.
Totally. Yeah. Right after the don't drink and drive, right? It's going to just be
sure.
Right. Too many DUIs and too many people setting themselves on fire. That was funny though. You're right. The guy running up with his weapon drawn, just ready to, you will comply, Yeah. Whatever. It's hey, habits die hard, right? You're rushing the threat. So, what are you going to do? You're going to yell, right?
Yeah. Someone comes at you full speed on fire. Failure to stop drill, right?
You're not going to tackle me, buddy. Yeah. What a goofball.
All right.
God.
Wild, man. The whole Palestinian Israel thing is absolutely insane. I do want to transition now.
Yeah.
To another video, which is completely a more uplifting topic, right? Uplifting for if you are in the military. So
thanks.
Also have a personal
first, man.
Yeah, I know. Really started out strong there. Have a personal connection to this. He's a master guns in this video, but he was a master art when I knew him. But he gives a super motivating speech right here. So let's go ahead and check it out.
Everybody in the service of this country that's in the Department of Defense, in every service branch, are out there doing their job. So 2 of us have the best advantage on the battlefield. The 0311 Marine Corps Infantrymen and the 11 Bravo U.S. Army Infantrymen. Guys like you, or guys that you might become, are out there doing hard things. So those guys have the best advantage on the battlefield that they can have. And if you have the mindset like you're doing this, you're the most badass guy out there, you're doing it for yourself, we don't need you. You do this, you do hard things, so those 2 guys can crush it on the battlefield. And if you can't do that, you might as well walk out the door right now. If you think you can do that, stay here, keep on training hard. As long as you keep a positive mental mindset, you will go farther than you can think. And if you keep that positive mental mindset, you may pass the course that you sign up for. You may pass. Nobody can guarantee that you're going to pass.
All right. So the reason I wanted to play that after the, amazing motivational dude who lit himself on fire is because it comes down to this. When you join the military, let's just be real here.
There's more breaking news from overseas.
Thank you very much. There is one role that service members have, and that's to win war, right? Not to have an opinion on Palestinian or Israel, not to have an opinion on what the president does or does not do. You can have your personal beliefs. That's fine. But once you are a DoD service member, what we do is win wars. And that person, I won't say his name because it had it blurred in the video. I don't know if he doesn't want his name blasted on social media, but I served with him when he was a master sergeant, and I also try not to cuss that much. But I'm telling you right now, that dude is the definition of what badass means. He was a modern day war hero, so to speak. So, but I want to get your thoughts on how does that make you feel? Because I almost want to go to the prior service recruiter right now, right?
Exactly. Yeah, it almost made me want to shave. It's nostalgic for me, for sure. you know, I was in the Marine Corps in the early 90s. You know, I think that although at the time when you're in and you're hearing those motivational kind of things, sometimes you're like, you know, oh, here we go. Now we got to go suck it up for like, you know, however long. It's usually right before something really sucky. And, but the looking back piece is, you know, it's absolutely necessary. And I think that sadly, it might not be happening as much as we would like for it to happen anymore. You know, I knew he was in the Navy. He was a captain, so full bird colonel in the Navy, right?
Yeah.
And he was going through some serious problems because he was being too hard on everybody. And the things he said to me, I was like, that doesn't really seem like too harsh or insensitive, right? So I love it. I think it's great. I think that that's part of the military. I think it's part of the military culture. And I think that's the type of stuff that needs to get blown out there, because people who either enjoy that type of atmosphere or can thrive in that atmosphere will be the ones who gravitate to it, instead of the other way of, you know, hey, and we have silent time, and we have, the stress button or stress card that we can pull out. No, we don't need that in the military. But I'll tell you, Clay, my worry now that I've shifted is with the recruiting woes out there.
Yeah.
And it seems like all they're doing is just trying to throw money at it, increase bonuses for certain things, whatever. Right. So then you're just getting people that are, you know, looking for a paycheck, and that's just all they want. And then they're going to half-ass through the process, or lowering the standard a little bit. And maybe that's physical fitness standard. Maybe that's brain power standard, right? So ASVAB scores, whatever. And so that's concerning. I would rather have, you know, high quality. And I think that there's a real discussion on how do we attract the right people. And I think that it's those types of videos to let people know that the military is still the military. Now, granted, there probably is some righting of the ship, so to say, that needs to happen with the military. But I think that it's kind of turned the wrong way, and it's refreshing and nostalgic to see that, because I'm fairly certain that was fairly recent.
Yes, that was definitely 2023 recent.
Yeah.
And I do want to say something, because, you know, I'm a millennial, right? In case you don't know, I'm a millennial. Everyone was ragging on my generation when like the surge of Afghan happened in like 2009 to 2012. And the whole point I want to make is we do the same thing to Gen Xers right now. I do the same thing to Gen Xers. I feel like a boomer when I talk about Gen Xers, okay? But what I really want to drive is there are always, I would challenge anyone here to go down to Lejeune, go down to Camp Pendleton, and I'm using Marine Corps bases because that's what I know. But just go look at what Marine Corps infantry has to offer. There are, in every generation, there are going to be those dudes that are down for it, that are just down where the rubber meets the road. Those type of, you know, I don't want to say alpha, because that wouldn't be the right description, but it that type of mindset, those dudes are not on social media lighting themselves on fire. They're not on social media talking about stupid stuff, because they are, you know, homegrown, so to speak. And that population exists in every generation. So, you know,
and every branch, every branch
for sure. The Marine Corps is the best though, but for sure, every branch, right? And it's just social media makes it, you know, I know social media may make it seem like America sucks, but I promise you, I don't think we do at all. Not at all, right? And it's dudes like this Master Guns here, pushing that motivation to that was a recon course that was going through their recon cycle to become reconnaissance Marines. And it's very uplifting to see, you know, that versus some dude lighting himself on fire saying pro-Palestinian, which is like, it's just
absolutely. No, I get it, man. So,
I don't know
how I got a question for you. How much did you like swim qual?
So I did the advanced swim qual. for whatever reason. So there's basic, intermediate, advanced, and there's a McQuist. The basic I think was stupid. The intermediate sucked, but the advanced really sucked. Like
Right.
it was.
So it's a sliding scale. Yeah.
Embrace the suck would be how I would do it. But if you can drown well, that's the thing about the advanced and McQuest is if you can drown well, and I mean that, you'll be all right. So
that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never had to do any of the super sucky ones, so that's good. Yeah, but I didn't like it nonetheless. It's well, and the Marine Corps had a funny way of making things that suck a little more too. So it's like we would be like on the way out to do some sort of an exercise or something, and we're going to be gone for whatever 2 weeks doing whatever, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, like hard left, and it's like, oh yeah, we got to get swim qual taken care of before we head out. Oh, okay, because that really sucks because I'm like ready to go there, but now we're going there, and now we're going to leave there soaked and go there. Wonderful. Thanks. Appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. We're going to go do a field op in like a buddy rush range, and you're on Lejeune. Well, before you do that, you got to hump, 3-4 miles to the gas chamber.
Yeah.
Then you do the gas chamber. Well, the grenade range is right next to the gas chamber on Lejeune. So now you got to do that.
I mean, you might as well.
Gotta hump. Then you got to hump to the range.
Right.
Hey, we're going to be in the field for a week.
That's right.
And then why would you take trucks back when you can just walk back? Right.
I mean, look at all the, hey, it's good for the environment, Clay. It's good for the environment. Okay. Look at you. You were green and you didn't even know it. Yeah. And oh, look at this. They have, a big surplus of ammo. So let's shoot that because we want to pick up the brass when it's dark. That's
nice.
Fun. Yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
All right. I want to transition into another hot topic here. This is recently, I want to say last week, maybe 2 weeks ago, a U.S. soldier was arrested in Russia, right? So definitely not good. Sucks. It definitely sucks for him. But let's go ahead and see what this has to say. It's a 1 and 43 second song, and that was the wrong button.
This AI tool will take your idea and create a complete book.
Nice. Now I know how our viewers feel.
There's more breaking news from overseas. CBS News has learned that an American soldier has been arrested in Russia after being accused of stealing from a woman. CBS's David Martin is at the Pentagon with new reporting.
The soldier is Staff Sergeant Gordon Black, based in South Korea, but now detained in Russia and accused of theft. Officials say he was supposed to be returning to the United States as part of a regular rotation, but instead traveled to the port city of Vladivostok, even though Russia is listed as a do not travel zone.
I just want to stop that real quick. Anyone who is in the DoD or the Department of State, right? Really a citizen, but specifically those two, don't travel to Russia. Don't travel to China. You're an idiot. Okay, you are an idiot. Do you have anything to add to that before we just go ahead and dive into this? I'm just like,
I was so yes, I was thinking that. So the do not travel zones, right? So one went there. Two is a staff sergeant, a staff NCO, right? What an idiot. And then accused of theft because you're there. And look, it's Russia. Did you really steal something or not? Or did they just know that you blabbed and said you were a staff sergeant in the Army? And then they're like, oh, yeah, you stole from me. Let's lock you up so we can figure out what's going on here. So whether you did or didn't, you're an idiot for going there. And this is why you don't go there. Dumb person. Yeah.
If when Russia says accuses, they mean guilty. That's what they mean. Okay. All right.
For the American military. He was arrested last week for allegedly stealing from a woman. The evidence against him is not known.
I can't really say much about it right now, but we are aware of this case.
Black becomes another American held in Russian jail, including former Marine Paul Whelan and Wall Street Journal reporter Evan Gershkovich, at a time when the war in Ukraine has brought relations between Washington and Moscow to near crisis levels. Both have been designated as wrongfully detained. WNBA star Brittany Griner was sentenced to 9 years after marijuana was found in her luggage. She was released in a trade for a notorious Russian arms dealer.
This evening, CBS News spoke with Sergeant Black's
mother, who says he told the family he was going to Russia to visit a girlfriend. The mother has spoken.
And there we go. We found the missing piece to the puzzle. Women, root of all evil. That's a joke.
Oh man.
Right? That's a joke. Man,
Okay, look. No, note to everyone: stay off of mail order brides. You don't need to go there. Okay. Oh, I can't believe it. That's so nuts, Clay. Oh God. So, what's your favorite part?
Honestly, I don't know. I like how they brought up the Brittany Griner thing because they said, they are implying that we did make a trade for her, but not the Marine, not the journalist.
Right. For a notorious arms dealer, by the way.
Yeah.
Perfect.
That one is as far as like pushing a narrative, that was pretty spot on. That was, you know what?
Right.
Good on you, CBS.
Yeah. Here, insert here. Yes.
Yeah. And then, is it his girlfriend or did he receive an email from a Russian beautiful lady, who's like, come to Russia, I'll be your girlfriend. So that's I don't know. I don't know which is more dumber, lighting yourself on fire in front of the Israel, embassy, or going to Russia to see your girlfriend. Oh, by the way, when we are funding Ukraine, who's at war with Russia, we have a proxy war right now as we're speaking. Idiot. I mean, I have no idea. I don't know.
The only thing that would make it better, and they didn't say, is if he showed up in uniform. Right.
That's how the Army does it. That's how the Army does it.
He's got that swag. What a fool. Yeah. Staff sergeant. No, you're gone. Well, and who knows how long he's going to be in that jail. I mean, wow. Fools, Clay, all of them. So look, don't go to areas you're not supposed to go to. They're on the list for a reason. The people there, the authorities, the governments, they will get you and lock you up.
And it's look at the press release. It seems like this staff sergeant in the Army had plans to go back to the States, right? And that's probably what he briefed to his command and staff whenever he was going on leave. It seems like he went outside of that, bought his own ticket to fly to Russia, and obviously didn't tell anyone because when he landed, I assume he was, when Russia says you've been accused of stealing, what they mean is, hey, you're in our country and we want to detain you so we can get another notorious arms dealer, right?
Right.
And it kind of goes back to, well, and this is way over my head, but if I was kidnapping people from another country, and then in return that country gave me, what I wanted, what I would do? I would keep on kidnapping people. I'm like, ooh, I want another notorious arms dealer. Maybe this time I can get a notorious, warlord or whatever, man. Wow.
Yeah, it's people are dumb, and people will in this case, go after the love of his life that he met one day ago on an email chat or something, and put his whole, not just career, but his life at stake for this one opportunity to probably, I'm going to marry you. I'm going to take you back to the United States, whatever he's thinking or saying. But wow. Yeah. It's hopefully somebody learns from this lesson and goes, yeah, maybe have second thoughts on that. How about you make the drive down here into South Korea? I'll see you down here. But even then, it's like, geez, there's just so many people trying to get information and spies and all that stuff. I mean, I know it sounds kooky, but it's super true. So it's just better to stay away. This guy's a fool. Yeah. So, and I agree with you, Clay. I mean, exactly what you said. If Russia gets what they want, because America is going to say, here you go. And, oh, by the way, we're going to give you back more than what we're getting in return, right? In a way, Why wouldn't they? Why wouldn't they? They absolutely would. And anybody who thinks that that's not the case is a fool. So it's a very sad situation, and I'm curious to see how quiet they will be if we get them back what Russia got in exchange. That'll be the question, right? And is that going to be quiet? I'm sure they're going to try to keep it quiet on whatever it is.
Absolutely.
But I'm sure you'll figure it out, Clay.
Yeah. Another thing I want to bring up too is what the heck was I going to bring up? Complete brain fart. What an idiot. Oh yeah.
Beard.
The only thing that would make this justifiable, and this is a joke. How hot is this girlfriend? You know, because we're talking 9, 10. Hey, sold. You know, I'll go to Russia too. But
it's catfish, Clay. It's catfish.
I'm going to assume it's some 26-year-old male on a web chat server who is saying all the dirty, nice things to get staff starts. Hey, don't light yourself on fire. Come to Russia instead.
Yes,
that's a better option. It would almost be better to light yourself on fire.
Actually, yeah. It's hard to say. It's a coin flip for sure. Sure. And you're right. Absolutely. It's some overweight dude with long fingernails sitting in a dark, dingy, no window, basement with 40 other dudes doing the same thing. And that's what you're talking to. So
that's a lot of cheese puffs. So
that's oh yes. Oh, cheesy fingers. I love it. Oh, you got another one?
Yep. So this is the last one. This is the last one, and this one talks about what happened just a few days ago. The Iranian president is dead, confirmed, died. Okay. I think strategically, which again is way over my head, strategically, this is a really, really big deal. The first thing I think of when I hear Iranian president dies is, okay, well, who's next? And is this dude a nutcase? Right? Because it could be if he's nuttier, if he's crazier, if that person is wants to pull the trigger. I think this is an issue, not just for us, but the entire region, right? So let's just watch the video.
So it's been confirmed that both the Iranian president and the Iranian foreign minister have died in the helicopter crash yesterday that was supposed to just be a hard landing, but turned out to be a crash. There's an ISR feed that you'll see above me, which was a Turkish drone that was sent out in order to help locate the location of the wreckage of the craft, or at least of the craft itself, when they were in the process of trying to search for it. There's also been geolocated photos sent out around where people have been able to see, hey, this is exactly where they crashed in the mountains of Iran's East Azerbaijan province due to the thick, milky cloud cover that was in the area, mist time stuff. So it's been confirmed. They've been recovering the bodies, and I'm assuming they're going to be returning to the capital pretty soon. The weird thing about this is that they were flying a helicopter that was manufactured in the 80s, which leads me to believe that they are hard up for cash right now.
All right. So
wow, I love that end part, which leads me to believe they're hard up for cash right now. A helicopter from the 80s. So a couple interesting things, though, Clay. I think one, I'm surprised how fast that information came out, because you would think that they would try to keep that a little quiet. However,
of the wreckage,
if you're the one who wants to succeed, then you do want to get that word out, because you want to step into that role. Now, the question's going to be, is there going to be any infighting on that? I mean, you have the prime minister and they're both gone. So, so there could be some infighting. That's how this stuff works over there, right? is some infighting, and even the neighboring countries are going to have a vested interest in this infighting on who's brokering deals and with who and how. It's concerning, absolutely, because of all the things you said, but also because the Middle East has always been a very unstable, we'll call it, a map, right? Anytime there's any sort of an opportunity to increase size of your country, right? So like we saw with Iraq and Kuwait, right? They wanted to take Kuwait and pull it back in. Every entity there would absolutely want more. So it's going to be interesting, and I think that the in focus is going to be interesting to watch and play out any sort of infighting, and if we're able to also ascertain what sort of outside influences. We have a vested interest. Believe me, we care who's in power there, and it's not far reached to say that we may help get the person that we want to be in position in one way or another. Your thoughts, Clay?
Yeah, I'm probably not going to talk about the America putting a puppet government into Iran. I'll leave that on the table personally. What I do think is
I never said anything like that. You said that.
What I do think is absolutely hilarious is the Turkish drone is the one that found the crash site, not an Iranian drone. If the president of the United States is in a potential helicopter crash, you bet everything in your bank account, your entire life, your children's life, that the U.S. will be the one to find them. Not Turkey, definitely not Russia, right? And it's just, that's something to think about. It's funny that Turkey found the crash site. And then he talks about whenever he talked about geolocating the crash site, I want you to think of like people on Reddit, because that's what we're talking about here. The internet is a crazy tool when it comes to open source research, and you can take a graphic on an ISR feed that has clearly been released to the public. Okay, you can take a graphic on a map, go to Google Maps, and then with terrain association, all that stuff, people on Reddit, okay, not even high-speed intel collection, people on Reddit are able to say, yep, that's where the location is. Here's, here's this tree, here's that rock that is 30 degrees, this angle. And they found the exact crash site. And it's funny that Iranian or Turkey found the crash site with the ISR feed. And then, your equivalent of people on Reddit found the crash site via Google Maps. And it just goes to show that what he implied, that the helicopter they use is from the 80s. That gives me a weird, as an American, that gives me a really weird feeling of security. I'm like, yeah, that's right. You are flying in a helicopter from the 80s, right? I know that probably sounds really, really bad if you're not American, but sucks to suck is what I got to say.
Right. Yeah. A Magnum PI helicopter. Heck yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of like those, this Christmas, I'm going to buy my son. He doesn't watch this. But this Christmas, I'm going to buy my son a DIY go-kart. So we can build the go-kart, build the engine so he can ride it. This reminds me that someone bought like a DIY helicopter for the Iranian president, and was like, "There you go, little buddy, build your helicopter, and you can fly it around."
Yeah.
But hey, he's dead. The prime minister's dead. I have no idea what's next. But what I do know, just from my experience in the Middle East, been there multiple times, is it's kind of like a firecracker, right? Or like a daisy chain. Once something happens, people go freaking nuts. And so not just in Iran, but I'm curious to know what the second, third order effects are in Iraq and Afghan and Pakistan and the UAE and Yemen and in Saudi, right? I'm sure Saudis are cheering. Food for thought, Saudi Arabia, Iran, they hate each other, okay? Plus, hey, what made the helicopter crash? I don't know. I'll kind of insinuate that. I'm not going to say the U.S. did it. Absolutely not. But
it's a 2-for-1 deal, man. You do it now, you got them both.
Yeah. And you get to get rid of their 80s version helicopter, right? So really,
that's true. Time for a new helicopter. That's right. You not only are you going to step into power, but you also get some new equipment. That's nice. Yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. It's. I wonder how. I'm curious. I mean, we got to do some sort of follow up on this because there's going to be some new things happening, and I'm curious who else is going to die along the way.
Absolutely. But other than that, Jason, that's really all we have for today. And as a last thought, I can't believe I didn't think about it when the airman lit himself on fire. There's no VA benefits for that, by the way. If you light yourself on fire, that's going to be, I forgot what the VA word is specifically, but it would be like negligent, right?
Right. Yes.
That person's family is not going to be entitled to benefits unless someone can prove he was seriously mentally ill, which just from watching that video could be possible, right? But I just want to throw that last thing in there. That's all I have, Jason. If you want to go ahead and give us your last thoughts and close us out.
Yeah. You know what? I agree. When you do stupid things, don't expect good results, right? And that includes VA benefits. So there's a high probability that nothing will ever happen for anybody on that side of the fence for any of his family. Who knows if he was, I don't. He seemed young. But everybody seems young to me anymore. So, I don't know if he had a family, like a wife and kids and all that stuff. But that's super sad if he did. Please, if you hung on until now, we're at 41 minutes or so. I'm not quite sure exactly how long this is for the full video. And I'm also not sure if Clay's going to slice it up and give you little bite-sized pieces. He may. Clay is the mastermind of putting this stuff up. So thank you, Clay. I appreciate your geekiness. It's helpful. So please put in the comments if this is something that you like. And if you don't like it, don't leave a comment. That's cool. So just please let us know if this is something that we should continue to do to kind of shake things up a little bit and bring some more information and some thoughts into it. And we would love your comments on each of the specific things that we went through, because it does help everybody, right? It's nice to hear your thoughts on what you think's going on. So with that, thank you so much for watching. We truly appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.